You are sitting across the room from the person you love, and the silence between you is deafening. You look at them, but it feels like you are looking at a stranger. You are physically in the same space, yet you have never felt more completely alone. Your mind starts racing. Short, fragmented thoughts loop in your head. Why does this keep happening? Am I the problem? Do I still love them, or have I just gotten used to the pain? Honestly, you start wondering if you are losing your mind. But here's the thing. The relationship didn't get harder because your love faded. It got harder because your safety did. If you are trapped in this cycle, hear me clearly. You are not failing at love. This is not a sign that you are broken or that you are fundamentally unlovable. Every person who has ever tried to navigate the deep, complicated waters of human bonding has stood exactly where you are standing right now. By the end of this video, you will finally understand the hidden psychological forces keeping you anchored to the people who hurt you and exactly how to break the chain. Let's get into it. Most couples believe that staying with someone who hurts you is a sign of weakness or a lack of self-respect. But the real truth is much deeper and honestly, a lot more tragic. Your partner's nervous system is reading you before their mind can even catch up, and yours is doing the same to them. When emotional safety leaves a relationship, the love doesn't just disappear, it goes underground. What looks like a toxic obsession from the outside is actually your attachment science playing out in real time. We don't gravitate toward what is healthy, we gravitate toward what is familiar. This is where the anxious avoidance cycle traps us. One partner consistently needs more closeness to feel safe, while the other consistently needs more space to survive. It isn't incompatibility, it is two people who actually want the exact same thing, connection, but their emotional histories have taught them to fight for it in completely opposite ways. When one pulls away, the other chases. The chase feels like passion, but it's actually panic. Let's look at the specific psychological patterns keeping you locked in this room. Here's the part no one talks about. Most people in relationships assume that we love people because they treat us well consistently. But psychology proves the exact opposite. We become hopelessly addicted when the affection is unpredictable. Beneath the surface, your brain treats emotional crumbs like a jackpot. When a partner is cold for days and suddenly gives you a warm smile, your dopamine spikes. Your nervous system confuses the relief of pain ending with the presence of real love. The disconnecting dynamic happens when one partner stays silent for 12 hours, then sends a single text. Hey. The other partner immediately drops everything, feeling an intense rush of validation. But the connecting dynamic looks completely different. It's when a partner says, I'm feeling overwhelmed right now and need an hour to clear my head, but I love you and we will talk at 8 p.m. When you experience consistent clarity, the walls between you start to come down without either of you having to say a word. This is where it gets really interesting. Most couples mistake a shared crisis for deep emotional intimacy. When a relationship is a constant roller coaster of breaking up and making up, your body floods with cortisol and adrenaline. Your internal monologue is constantly screaming, "Are they leaving me?" Then, the makeup sex or the tearful apology happens. Your brain quietly registers, "We survived the storm, so this must be my person." But you didn't build intimacy. You just survived a fire that they started. In the disconnecting dynamic, you hear phrases like, "If you leave me, I don't know what I'll do to myself." But the connecting dynamic shifts toward ownership, where a partner says, "I want to be with you, but I need us both to get professional help because this cycle is hurting us." That's the shift that turns a relationship that feels like a negotiation into one that feels like a refuge. Here's the one most couples never figure out. We don't just love people who hurt us. We love people who hurt us in the exact same way our parents did. Psychology calls this repetition compulsion. Your subconscious mind is trying to solve an old problem using a new person. Something in you believes that if you can finally make this emotionally unavailable partner love you, you will finally heal the wound left by your emotionally unavailable father or mother. The disconnecting version of this pattern is when you stay with a partner who ignores your accomplishments, secretly thinking, if I achieve more, they will finally notice me. The connecting version is when you stop performing for their approval and say, when you ignore my good news, I feel completely invisible to you. This isn't a communication hack. This is just what two emotionally mature people naturally do. Bro, you cannot heal a childhood wound by bleeding on someone who doesn't care that you're hurt. And this is the pattern that stretches out toxic relationships for years. Most people in relationships aren't actually in love with the person sitting in front of them. They are in love with the profile of who that person could be. Emotional distance in a relationship isn't like a wall. It's like scar tissue that forms slowly over 100 small moments that never got repaired. You keep remembering the first 3 weeks of dating, using those memories as a shield against the last 3 years of neglect. What's moving through your mind is, I know the real them is still in there somewhere. In the disconnecting dynamic, you excuse the behavior by saying, they had a really rough childhood, so it's okay that they yelled at me today. But the connecting version draws a firm line. I understand your past, but I will not allow you to project your old anger onto me anymore. That's when your partner stops feeling like a problem to manage and starts feeling like a person to come home to. But here's what nobody explains about the longevity of painful love. The more you suffer for someone, the harder it becomes to walk away. Most couples view the time they've invested as an asset they can't afford to lose. You think about the tears, the sleepless nights, the family dinners, and the shared apartments. Your smoke detector nervous system sounds the alarm because leaving feels like admitting that all that pain was for nothing. Not more compromising, not scheduling a weekly check-in, not trying to force a spark that died a year ago. But two people who look at the reality of their present and ask if they are actually safe. The disconnecting fallback is clinging to history. We've been together 5 years. I can't just throw that away. The connecting alternative embraces evolution. The last 5 years taught me what I need, and the next 5 years need to look completely different. When you accept reality over history, you stop reacting and start responding. This isn't a checklist to judge your relationship by. It's an invitation to show up differently. When you internalize these psychological patterns, you stop waiting for the cycle to magically fix itself, and you start seeing the matrix of your own attachment wounds. These aren't tips for a better relationship. They are the beginning of becoming the kind of partner you always wanted someone to be for you. Man, the truth is simple but heavy. Real intimacy doesn't start when you find the right person. It starts when you decide to become one. If this video made you feel seen, hit the subscribe button. Leave a comment below with the word repair if you're ready to break the cycle. Let's build something real.